The entire NBA is in scramble mode after the Golden State Warriors ran through all competition in the playoffs, on their way to another NBA title. It is pretty clear that no team is close to what they've assembled in Golden State after they signed Kevin Durant last offseason. But there is one decision this offseason that could save the NBA and create a major roadblock for Golden State. What's good, YouTube fam? Like I just said, there is one decision this offseason that can save the NBA and save the career of one superstar. That superstar, of course, is point guard Chris Paul, who recently declined his player option and is now a free agent. In this video, I'm going to discuss his current options and state the ramifications of each. Chris Paul, in his 12 seasons as a pro, is a 9-time All-Star, 4-time All-NBA First-Team Player, 3-time All-NBA Second-Team Player, 7-time All-Defensive First-Teamer. He won Rookie of the Year in 2006, and he is currently 10th all-time in career assists with 8,251, averaging nearly 10 per game for his career. Chris Paul is clearly one of the best point guards of all time. But crazy enough, a Chris Paul team has never got past the second round in the playoffs. I can't think of another player this decorated that has never been close to an NBA title. Chris Paul has a huge decision ahead of him this offseason, which I see him with two options. Either he can resign with the Clippers or go somewhere else. With the first option of resigning with the Clippers, Paul is eligible to sign a 5-year deal worth $205 million. Any other team can only offer him a 4-year deal worth around $152 million. That's a staggering $53 million Paul would have to leave on the table if he were to leave. Option 2 for Chris Paul is to take less money and sign with another team and have a chance to compete with Golden State for a title. The only two teams I see as being close to Golden State if they add Paul is San Antonio or New Orleans. San Antonio having the best coach in the NBA with Greg Popovich and a top 5 talent with Kawhi Leonard, and New Orleans with having the two best big men in the NBA with Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins. Both these teams, if they add Chris Paul, would become a juggernaut in the same light as Golden State. I feel the greater of these two scenarios is for Chris Paul to team up with Kawhi Leonard under the structure of Greg Popovich in San Antonio. A Spurs team, I remind you, who when healthy was up 20 points in the third quarter of Game 1 in the Western Conference Finals against Golden State. Adding Chris Paul would make San Antonio the Warriors' worst nightmare, and possibly could save the NBA. If Chris Paul, however, chooses to take the money and stay with the LA Clippers, who have never made a conference finals since Paul's arrival in 2011, the status quo remains, and Golden State should dominate the West again, like last year when they didn't even lose a single game in the West playoffs. But hey, I will never criticize a player for getting his money. However, the league as a whole and Chris Paul's legacy is at risk here, all of which can be saved by a move to San Antonio. However lopsided the West may look right now, even if Chris Paul should stay in LA, there may be one more way to save the NBA, and that might be a LeBron James move to LA, maybe even with Paul George. But hey, that is a video for another day. I want to thank everybody who watched this video, and if you want more content like this, please hit that like button and subscribe. I'll catch everybody in the next video.